how did you get into music in the first place? Because you said it was like a calling to you.
Well, I only decided to take music seriously back in 2018. Previous to that, I was already performing in my college. There's like a performing arts group that I was part of. And before that, I was like one of those, later kids. And then before that, I was just always singing ever since I was young. But I never thought to pursue it as a career because I didn't know that I could write songs. I was really scared to, I think. There's like once you cross the line from singing songs to making songs, I think it's a huge jump. And often that's just the scariest part to even try. But I was, going through something, who isn't during college. And I started songwriting as a form of, therapy or whatever. And I found out that I really enjoyed it, and the songs that I was making, they just hit different than the songs that I was listening to. And I would show my friends, I would show my family, and they really enjoyed it too. Me from just writing songs as a hobby, therapy, self-soothing thing to actually performing songs, collaborating with a band. Then I started to do live performances. It was back in Manila. I was working towards recording my music, but I found that that was so difficult because I lacked key people like a sound engineer, I producers. And in my last year that I was in the Philippines, 2019, right before the pandemic hit, that I had all of these songs lined up ready for production. And then I went to the US for vacation, and then COVID happened, and then I had to stay here. And it was during quarantine that I was able to work with my cousin, who just so happened to be a sound engineer and a manager. It was really just divine timing. We really, we got together. We're like, let's just quarantine together. We're all stuck in for the whole summer anyway. For the whole year, really. So we worked on my first 3 singles during that time. Actually, no, sorry, my first 2. So Record and Fly. That's why it's kind of strange that it came out in 2020 because that's the quarantine. Like, how did you do that? But yeah, it's work from home, basically.
So, what do you feel is like the best song you've ever released so far?
Best song so far, I think, is actually By Your Side. That was my third song. Only because that took almost 2 years to make. I was working on that back in 2019, and I thought that was going to be like my first song to come out, but it didn't end up that way. And I think anybody who's a songwriter or musician that's listening to this knows that the music you put out isn't always like in chronological order. It's going to be like whatever ends up happening, whatever ends up being finished is the one that's going out. So for By Your Side, that was going to be my first. I had the music video lined up, and it actually took all of quarantine, the entire year, to complete, from the song and the music video. And that happens to be my favorite because I think it's the song I really like for myself. More self-soothing therapy stuff. And I think that really defined collaboration for me because I got to work with an amazing director, Bettina Del Rosario, and an amazing producer, Magalia. I'm shouting them out so I can tag them later on social media. I just really, an amazing project, and it's my favorite to date.
Why did it take so long compared to your other songs?
I want to call it divine timing. It was also quarantine. And it just kept getting pushed back further and further. But when it finally came out, I realized that the message had so much relevance to isolation, quarantine, that loneliness that everybody had been feeling in the past year. And I thought that it captured it so well, if not for the audience, then for myself. And I received so much feedback from it, from people that were close to me, and also for the first time, I would get, DMs saying that the song really helped them through a hard place, that last year was so hard, and that they felt like this really like captured what they were feeling. And I think the impact of that in itself is why it's so important to me, and why it took so long, because it just needed to be perfect timing.